But how do you do these calculations? So this is where top-down and bottom-up analysis comes into play. So the top-down analysis is where you look at the industry reports, secondary data, to get a sense of the overall.
All right, so now we've talked a bit about different types of analysis, bottom up, top down. How is someone that can actually get into these markets, and what are some strategies that people might take to actually enter?
Okay, so this is very connected to your competitors. So there are like 4 general strategies for entering markets. So the one you are entering an existing market. So there are already competitors on this market. There are already other ice cream shops in San Francisco. So you have to consider how you're going to enter this market. Is your product good enough to compete against other offerings on the market? Then you have a second group, which is creating a new market. You're coming up with completely new product that wasn't on the market before. So you create a new market. Something wasn't there before. You have a new product idea. You're creating a new market. You're creating a need. I mean, the need is already there, whether it's conscious or unconscious, and you're creating a market for your product. Related to the first strategy is re-segmenting a new market. So you are entering a market that there are competitors out there, but your product your business idea have found a niche that isn't addressed by the other competitors. So you re-segment the market, and you create a new segment of people who would use your specific product from the existing market. Mm-hmm. Or another strategy is you already have a successful market. You created a successful market in San Francisco, and you want to move it to New York or to LA. If I would move to your city, so you recreate a successful model in another market. It's like 4 ways of thinking about how to enter market. But then you may ask, how do you decide? Mm-hmm. How do you decide on how to enter those markets? How your product compares to competitors? Is it something like this on the market already? Should you create a new market? Should you compete with other competitors? So this is where you would use the consumer development method developed by Steve Blank. And he wrote the Startup Owner's Manual, and he developed this method to mitigate a problem of facing risks of not finding customers for your product or service. So, okay, so you have a product, ice cream online delivery. So will you find actual customers on your product? Are there people who are going to buy your product? So Steve Blank proposed a method, the customer development method, that helps you answer this question and mitigate this risks. So it consists of 2 modes. The search mode, on one hand, in which you perform customer discovery and customer validation, and the execution mode, where you perform customer creation and company building cycles. So today we will only focus on the search mode, not the execution mode. So let's start with the search mode. So initially, you as a startup operate in this mode, the search mode. This is where your business model is just a collection of unproven hypotheses. just singular.
Yeah, hypotheses, I think.
Yes, hypothesis. So yes, my hypothesis is people will buy ice cream online, order them online. So the customer discovery cycle translates my vision into business model hypotheses and test them. Then I perform customer validation, where I test the resulting business model for repeatability and scalability. So whether I can recreate the same model and it works and it can scale, so I can expand in the future. So during these two phases, you get in front of a customer early and often. Early as quickly as humanly possible. You have an idea, you formulate, you translate it, your vision into a business model hypothesis. How you gonna do this? I'm gonna create a website, and I'm gonna allow you to order ice cream online, and we will deliver it to your door within 30 minutes, for example. That's your business model hypothesis. You go in front of a customer as quickly and as often as possible. As often is every single time you change your hypothesis, you redo the whole thing. You can have an in-person meeting with your potential customers. In my case, that would be people living in San Francisco. Or you can perform an online survey. You can have a telephone survey, or whatever the medium you choose to talk to your customers. But the key message here is that you test your hypothesis with customers as often and as early as possible, just to discuss your idea. Maybe you can even show some, visualization, if that makes sense for your particular product, just to validate your hypothesis. So when you conduct this customer discovery, it is important to ask open-ended questions. Just a pro tip. This will help you to get a deeper understanding of your customers' needs and motivations. So why they would buy those ice cream online. It is also important that you really, really listen carefully to what they have to say. It's like, I can't emphasize it enough. You really need to get into the weeds of what your customer are saying, giving you the feedback. Why? Because then you have to decide whether your hypothesis is proven or it fails. When it fails, it doesn't mean that the business idea is wrong. Not at all. You can always pivot or radically change focus. I'm going to give you an example of Twitter. Now it's called X. I don't think I'm going to ever call it X, but...
Me neither.
So Twitter initially was a podcast subscription network called Odeon. But when iTunes entered the same market, it couldn't compete against Apple. So what did they do? The failure was inevitable. So they decided to focus on building a microblogging platform. Why they changed this focus? So just like my company, they held hackathons for employees. And an engineer, Jack Dorsey, came up with an idea for a microblogging platform. They decided to refocus from podcasts to microblogging. And today, well, it was known as Twitter, and today it's known as X. So that's how you can refocus. It doesn't mean that your general business idea is wrong. Maybe you need to pivot and just go after another idea, or refocus to something similar but else. but different. Uh, so on the other hand, you may decide after talking to your customers that your idea looks good and it won't fail. So your startup then enters the execution mode. It's the second mode. In it, you establish the market, position your product, and you build the demand for the product. But this is in the customer creation cycle, which I don't really want to talk too much about today because it's not really as related, but we will come back to that for sure.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so that's in short how you perform customer discovery. You formulate business model hypothesis from your vision. You talk to customers through whatever medium you can think of. You can refer to our episodes about questionnaires, how to create a customer.
You mean questionnaires?
Questionnaires, yes. How to perform a user study to learn more about how to talk to your customers and how to prepare for the meeting. And you validate whether your business model is proven, can it be repeated, and can it scale? And that's, in short, is the customer discovery and validation.
Fantastic. And, I want to bring this up real quick because I think for a lot of people, this probably feels incredibly intimidating. And I think a lot of people will feel like, oh, how can I do something like this when you've got billion-dollar companies that already put a lot of money into doing this type of analysis and research? Something I just read about today was that Meta, they're releasing their Quest 3 headset, VR headset, in just a few days, they're this month in October. And they originally had an analysis that they would be able to sell 7 million models, items by the end of the year. And now, just before the release, that has changed now to less than half, or more than half. They are projecting less than 3 million sales. So it just kind of goes to show that it's a complicated process, but you can have all the money in the world and you still can get it wrong. And there's a lot of steps and trial and error. So,
that is happening. That is happening to everyone. It's not really related to size of the company. It's just a simple correction. You get your initial data from pre-sales, for example, and then you make a correction. That's very normal thing to do. But think about it this way also. Tesla entered a very competitive market. There was already established companies with decades-long history for car manufacturing, but they created a new market for EVs. And this is like a classical David and Goliath example. Like Tesla, super small company, they just starting, they just have a product idea. And now they are like the biggest car in demand in the US.
Yeah. It's a great point, right? Now everyone wants an electric vehicle, and Tesla definitely, kickstarted that, I think. This is a really cool topic, and I think it's really awesome because, there's so many ways that you can go about. There's quite a few ways you can go about figuring out if your product is going to work, and you get to start testing it out. Thank you, Pavel, for showing us, all these cool ways to do our market research and analysis. I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, please comment down below, subscribe. Tell us what you think about all of this. Are you an entrepreneur? Is this something that you think about? And if so, tell us a little bit about your story if you'd like to share. And with that, we'll see you all next time.